today, so we should start around about now. My name is Kelly Robinson of Broadbean Technology. With me on the line is my counterpart here in the US, a lady called Rayanne Thorne, who's the Marketing Director of Broadbean.
Hello, everyone.
And we, first of all, want to extend thanks to the team at PC Recruiter Main Sequence for allowing us to come along and talk to you for a few minutes today. We're a slightly different proposition than the previous series. We've been following quite closely, and there's been some great information covered over the past number of weeks. We're a slightly different proposition in the fact that we're not a educational company, but much more a technology business. So what we're going to do today is to walk through some actual live demos of some opportunities to improve the recruiter workflow and to hopefully make people money. Now, we're going to try and do something slightly different. We're going to try and be a little bit more interactive, which is why Rayanne's joined me on this call today. Rayanne's going to be covering the chat stream within the webinar. So if at any point in time people have got questions, if there's bits that you'd like us to cover, we'll try and make it a little bit more interactive. Obviously, we can't directly talk to you within this webinar, but we can actually answer your questions. So feel free to type away. And she will either reply directly or we'll stop and we'll go back and we'll answer those questions as we go through. So first of all, a little bit about us. As I mentioned before, my name is Kelly Robinson. I'm originally from London. I moved to the US about 2 years ago. My background is being technology recruitment. Originally starting, I'm going to show my age now, but I started in 1989. Went through a succession from working the desk to making placements to running businesses and eventually owning companies. And I got involved in online recruitment about 10 years ago now when we launched Broadbean. Broadbean was originally started in London. We grew very quickly to become the European leader in job distribution. And now we call ourselves a global candidate sourcing company. And we'll talk a little bit more about the business and what we do as we go through this presentation. Quick intro for Rayanne. For those of you, Rayanne is a prolific writer, and for those of you that follow recruiting blogs, I'm sure you'd have heard her name and read her posts. But without further ado, I'll allow you to introduce yourself briefly.
Thanks, Kelly. I have, like Kelly, have been in the recruiting industry for many years. Had the opportunity to be a corporate recruiter, third-party recruiter, as well as an executive retained search professional, and recently joined Broadbean about a year ago and have been writing about and for the recruiting industry for about the last 3 years and understand social media pretty good and have fully participated in it for the last 3 years. And so I'm very happy to be here today to share a little bit about how we feel about job distribution and how it can increase your business and help you do your job a little bit better. We're going to move right along into a snapshot of what Broadbean is. Like Kelly said, founded back in 2001. We are a fully integrated partner of PC Recruiter. We have made a considerable effort to partner with the best other vendors in our space. First and foremost, we are a technology company. We don't try to be anything other than what we are, and our core competency is helping recruiters and hiring professionals source candidates. So it has been ideal for us to partner with the best and the brightest out there. We are the market leader in global job distribution and candidate response tracking, candidate response analysis. We distribute, as you see on the screen, over 13 million postings per year. That rounds out to about 1.2, 1.5 a month, 1.5 million. And we're used by about 30,000 recruiters and hiring professionals worldwide. Have about 1,500 companies that use our product, and we're really excited to be here in America now. We launched Broadbean USA a little over a year ago, and we're very happy to be here and looking forward to increasing business here as well.
Okay, so just moving on from there, let's talk, let's get straight into what we do best. And I've simplified the way most of our clients view a typical kind of sourcing plan. And it is simplified because I know there's a number of ways you can actually go about finding candidates. But for the the purposes of our demonstration and for the purposes of walking through exactly what we do, I brought that down to 3 key points here. As we see it, and this is a poll of our clients, job description comes in. The first thing a recruiter will do is look at that job description and say, well, who do I know that can do this job? You know, is there somebody out there that I can pick up the name Kelly Robinson and I can place him directly into that company, and that makes a $10,000 fee, and those fees are very well spent when it's been that easy. The second thing that most of our clients do is to take the job and to post it online. And I'm going to come back to this point in a second, because this is where we're going to take you through what we do best. And obviously the third thing is physically going out and direct recruiting, searching, resourcing, headhunting. I mean, it's got a number of phrases, but the third part is actually going out there and finding that candidate. Now, the thing we do really well is to help companies take that job description and put it out there on the internet and actually let the internet do the work of finding the candidate for you. And at this point, what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit more about some of the key things that we do, and then actually walk you through the product itself. Now, for those of you who have heard of Broadbean, and you'll know that we're fairly well known for posting jobs. The bigger part of our business is more recently been geared around using social media to find candidates. So we do 4 key things, as I've highlighted here. We'll distribute your job. We'll allow you to send it to Facebook. We'll allow you to tweet it. We'll allow you to actually socialize that and share that across your own networks, of be that professional or personal networks, to actually invite people to apply for the job. And because we're not an educational company, because we are a technology business that help companies find candidates, what I wanted to do at this point was actually show you the workflow from sitting in your PC Recruiter main sequence application to actually going out and finding candidates, and rather than just talk about the things we do, actually physically show you right now how we would go about doing that. Then we'll come back to some educational points which we think are quite important in terms of the way you put your adverts together. So I'm just going to, if you can just bear with me for a second, I'm just going to open up something different on my screen, if I may. Okay, so what we have here is, for those that are PC Recruiter main sequence users, we're looking actually at the system. For those of you that are not, then we'll show you the standalone equivalent of this in the meantime. But typically what I wanted to do is walk you through that process of posting the job. The recruiter will have a job description. It's normally been given to them by a client, or it's coming from a business development group. And what they tend to do is they go into their database application, their PC Recruiter main sequence application. They will cut and paste the job description. And the next thing they want to do is then get them out to the sites. So, I mean, it's a fairly straightforward process. You click here in this example, we would click external posting. When we click external posting, it's going to take us through to the transmission page, and then ultimately it's going to land us in the Broadbean section of PC Recruiter main sequence. Now, at this point, we have to decide where we're going to push that posting out. So in Broadbean, it's pretty straightforward. We select the job category, and I've set one up here today. I don't know if you noticed the job description I have, but it was a medical job description, and I'm going to use a live client as an example to show you. So in this shortcut, I'm going to say, well, actually, I want to send this out. It's a medical job, and I want to socialize it, so I'm going to choose social medical. And as a result, I've chosen 3 streams. This is just our test job board or our test stream, so this is just here as an example. The other option is to send it directly to Facebook, and this is to a Facebook application that we provide. And the third thing is we're going to tweet this job. Now, if I wanted to, and I wanted to send it out to Monster, I could do, but in the example I've just shown you here, I'm just going to run through and post it across. Now, one of the things we often hear is that, it takes a long time to post a job. As you can see here, I've taken the job description immediately from the tracking system from your PC Recruiter main sequence application. And what I've done is I've pulled it directly into Broadbean. Very little work for the recruiter to do. We've pulled through the job description. We've pulled through the job title. We've then pulled through the industry, sector information, the location. It's specifically for Facebook, there's an opportunity to embed video. So if you wanted to put a link to a YouTube video for your Facebook app, then you can. And we've pulled through the whole job description. So as a recruiter, there's very little for me to do. I can come in here. I can make a choice. I'm going to socialize this job. I'm going to come through and check it. And once I'm complete, I literally just click continue and post the job. Now, I'm going to bring you out to a live site And this is a recruiting company based out of Florida. They're a client of ours, and I've chosen this one for a specific purpose because the candidate will feed back into the PC Recruiter main sequence application. This is their Facebook fan page, and at this point I click on jobs, and this will take me through directly to a list of jobs. Let me refresh this page for you actually. This will take me through to a list of jobs directly on their Facebook page. Here we can then decide as a candidate, okay, I want to open this position. Once this position's open, I can look at it, I can share it, I can like it. You know, you can do all the typical things that you used to do within a Facebook application. And more importantly, I can click apply. When the candidate clicks apply, we bring them back to a branded landing page. So we're now publicising not only us as a business, but also the job in more detail. And from there, the apply phase takes them straight back to the end user site. So in this case, it's a PC Recruiter landing page. So it's a very clean, easy workflow from taking your job posting and sending it out to a variety of, in this case, social media. But the source level is pretty much unlimited, whether it's your paid-for job boards, and there's some fantastic companies out there that deliver brilliant results, through to your social media channels, through to your job board aggregators, your Simply Hires, your Indeed. So we create the link between your applicant tracking system and those end-user sites. I mean, I've put a corporate one on there where Logica, a company we work with, we do a similar sort of thing for them on the Facebook side. And the reason I put that on there is just to show you there's a little bit more branding that we've embedded on there as well. So this is, again, this is part of what we do. Not necessarily, as I said, we're not a training company. We're not training recruiters to be better at making placements. What we're doing is we're providing you technology which will make your life easier and help you make placements. Let me just show you a couple other things. During that example, we also tweeted the job. So as I went through and we chose, let's just drop back here, as I went through and we chose the different job descriptions, one of them was Twitter. So by posting that position out, what we've actually done is we've sent it to, in this example, our own US Twitter stream. But within our system, perfectly able to send it to a number of Twitter streams. So if there's a corporate stream and an individual stream and maybe a generic stream that you want to send your tweets out to, that can all be done in one fell swoop. And the process is exactly the same. We take the job description, we take the job title, the location, and create a small URL which will enable the candidate to come back directly to the system. So I'll show you an example again. I'm using the same company. Brings us back to the landing page, from the landing page back to the apply page. So very straightforward, easy to use system, enables you to get all of your social media channels covered from your applicant tracking system. Now, what happens at this point is, as the candidates come in, one of the things you're going to want to know is where are you getting the best value, which channels are working for you. So what we do is we pass the referring code back to your tracking system to enable reporting on which are your best channels, where are you making the most money. So you should actually be able to look at the number of placements made from each individual source, and from that individual source come back with your true return on investment. And I think that's crucial going forward. It's been obviously much easier to find candidates over the past 2 years because of the recession. Market's starting to warm up again now. As the unemployment rate starts to drop, it's going to be harder and harder to find those qualified placeable candidates. Ray, is there anything you'd like to add at that point before I just move on?
No, you're doing a great job. Looks good.
Let me just bring. All right.
I guess just to be clear that not just the Broadbean stream, Twitter stream, but also individual, like you mentioned this, but make sure that it's clear that we can actually access your own individual Twitter stream as well.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, absolutely. And as I say, apologies to people who are listening that we're expecting something slightly more educational. We're a company that helps people make placements, ultimately makes money. We're not a training establishment, so what we're trying to do here is just show you a little bit about who we are and what we do, and our partnerships with people like PC Recruiter. Now, I've walked you through the demo quite quickly, and we'll leave that open that if there's any questions, we can come back to people, or if there's people that want to see a little bit more in depth. I mean, we're keeping this limited to, I think, 25, 30 minutes. So I really wanted to finish off with just kind of a walkthrough of what we typically see from our clients, and that is the first thing we see is that the 95% of our customers that are working on jobs, those jobs have been given to them via their client as an email. Very few people are calling line managers now and actually, having jobs dictated to them. So the typical workflow is that a job spec gets given to a recruiter from a particular channel. A recruiter cuts and pastes workflow into a form of a tracking system or of a version of our system, standalone system, to distribute your jobs, and then sends it out to a variety of sources, whether that's paid for job boards, free job boards. And I could literally do a search now. If I was to have a job description here, I can pretty much guarantee I could do a search and find that job description posted by 4 or 5 companies with exactly the same information. And one of the things that we talk a lot about is actually you really got to take responsibility for making those postings attractive, because you really are missing the trick if you're just sending out the job description, because you and 4 or 5 of your competitors and probably the direct company are sending out the same information. And there's very little incentive for an applicant to come and apply to a job if it's just a bland job description. So we talk a lot about creating great job postings. And Ray, I know you're a writer. This is something you believe in as much as I do.
Right.
Give me your thoughts on how you put together a great job posting.
Well, yeah, this is something that I've talked about for years. I have had the opportunity to write job postings. I've had the opportunity to review job postings, and I think it's imperative that when we're doing this, that we recognize what has changed in our industry. And the biggest change over the last 10 years has been the onset of the Internet and the way that job seekers actually are out there looking for jobs. And what we've forgotten is the old classified ads, when you had to pay per word or per line, and the recruiter or the hiring manager actually had to make those words count. And I don't think that's happening anymore. I think that it's not just being lazy. It's minimizing keystrokes, it's trying to get the job done more quickly. But what's happening is we are opening up a job posting to so many individuals that are just responding to keywords as opposed to a well-written job posting or job advertisement. And what we're trying to help and do here at Broadbean and any place else, I'm sure PC Recruiter has the same quest for the future, is to allow recruiters to have more time to write enticing job postings that will bring individuals back to the corporate side or to the recruiter that's out there posting the job. And there are several ways to do that, and Kelly has outlined a few things that we feel are a little bit more important than just cutting and pasting. We hear all the time the post and pray. I think that we should source and slay. And a way to do that is by using technology that will search the Internet, either by bringing candidates back through a brilliantly written job posting or through a search tool that will allow you to search databases that are out there, whether they are social media sites that allow you access by a search function of some type or a keyword search or looking for tags, as well as maybe even looking through WordPress, finding individuals that are writing about things that are important in our industry or the industry that you're actually conducting a recruitment in. So at Broadbean, we want this to be out there for everybody, to understand that there is an opportunity for you to take the time to write a better job description, a job posting that will bring the candidates in. And as you see on the screen here, a few of these things, obviously, Kelly, you want to talk about just that first line?
I mean, absolutely. The first thing is be different. I mean, we go out there online and, test it today. Take the job description you're working on, the one that you're doing a search on right now, put it into Google, and you'll find it 4 or 5 times from you and your competitors. You'll find it from, besides those, you've got an exclusive, and they're all the same. So I think, be different. You've got to make, you've got to give a chance to entice a candidate into your position. And I actually genuinely believe that the more time and effort you put in crafting a good advertisement, a good commercial, a good posting to find the candidate, you'll get less responses but better targeted, more qualified. We hear it all the time. I post an ad, I get too many people that respond to a position. And that's because, quite frankly, they're very open sometimes. They list a bunch of skills. 100 people could be relevant for that. And actually what we'd rather find is I'd rather get 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 people respond to the job, of which 3 or 4 are worth me, classified as an MPC, a most placeable candidate, somebody that I can actually put forward and have got a chance of placing with my client companies. But we broke it down. I'm a great believer in when you create a great posting, there's 3 golden rules, and it's CPP, company, position, potential. Now, the first part of that is the job title. That's
right, sorry, and to just touch briefly on that, you could do a search on any aggregator out there and find multiple. If I were to do a search right now on a sales or marketing position, you're going to get entry-level sales and marketing, sales, marketing, customer service. A good one is going to say, this is the job you're looking for, or something along the lines that is enticing, that will actually draw somebody to click, to make that extra effort and click on a job posting. This is your first chance, the first connection with a potential candidate that you're going to source via the Internet. And so you have to make it good. It has to be clear. It has to be understood what they're clicking through on, and not just the job title. That's just not going to be enticing enough. So be creative. You have the opportunity to be creative, and so take advantage of that.
And you know what? That's much more fun than just cutting and pasting a job title from a job description. The second thing is let's describe the company. Let's get under the hood. Let's tell them who they're going to go and work for. Who are this company and what do they do? Why should I go? Why should I engage with them? I think it's really important to tell people the type of business, the culture of the business, what do the business do very clearly, so people often see what the job description is. There's very little about the company, the actual reasons we go and work for the company. And most people don't go and work for a company because of what it says in their brochure. They walk in there and it's the culture, it's the people, it's the environment that seems to be the big attraction. But very rarely are they sold on any of these postings.
And then moving on is to talk a little bit more clearly about the position. I think that you can actually eliminate unnecessary or unqualified candidates by being really precise about what the job is. And that is not just cutting and pasting an already poorly written job description. That is finding out the key points that you are looking for when posting a job online. And too often we just see that job description, cut and pasted in. So be a little creative there as well. The art of writing a job posting or job advert has been lost in an effort to speed the process. And where are you going to lengthen the process when you're combing through multiple resumes that come in as a result of not having a really well-written or precise position description?
Absolutely. And, you can see by the amount of time we've spent on this section alone, this is something we genuinely believe will bring an improvement to the industry and help recruiters get more interviews or send outs and ultimately make more placements. But the final piece of the jigsaw for me when you're creating a great job posting or a great job advert is the potential. And I mean, I think that line sums it up. Why should I quit my job and go and work there? And I borrowed that line from a recruitment trainer that I met back in the early 90s. He was an American guy called Tony Byrne. He came to the UK. And, his thing that always stuck with me is you should be able to answer the question to any potential candidate why they should quit their job and go and work for that company. And I think that, we should, because we have less interaction with candidates now unless they're interested, I think certainly from a posting perspective, if we can answer that question, potentially we can reduce the number of unqualified responses, but actually gain some better, more focused responses, some people that we can actually put directly in front of our client. And there's just one final thing I'd like to cover today, because I know we're running out of time, and that is that whenever we receive those responses, something that we talk a lot about to clients is whenever you look at that candidate, we should be looking at that candidate or that response, not just can this person do the job, but can this person do any other assignments I'm working on? And more importantly, and again, it's a slightly different nature of business over here than it is in the UK, but I will be looking at that candidate and saying, is this an NPC? Is this the most placeable candidate? Is this somebody I can take to market and actually market this candidate out and make additional placements? And when you're looking at hitting your quota and hitting your numbers, that's definitely a thought process worth having on receiving all applications.
Great. Kelly, we did have one question come in regarding LinkedIn.
Yep.
And how we might use LinkedIn also. Of course, it's one of the biggest networks out there that recruiters frequent. So if you want to, can you touch a little bit about LinkedIn and how we are maximizing the connections there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for asking the question. And I'm fairly short on time, so we can always take it direct, but I'll bring it to you. Part of the Broadbean sourcing platform, and we've not showed it today purely because of the time involved, is the ability to socialize your job. So what I showed you earlier on was posting the job to Twitter, to Facebook, to Monster, etc., etc. Now what I want to do as an individual recruiter is then take that job and socialize that. So within Broadbean platform, what you can do is you can run a search of first of all, your LinkedIn connections, and you can send an email to your LinkedIn connections inviting them to apply to that job. So it will take you back to the URL I showed you earlier. The second thing you can do is you can search for your first and second degree, and it used to be third, but I'm pretty convinced that's changed over the last week or so, your first and second degree connections for other people that you may know. And then you can invite those people to go and look at the job. It's a very unintrusive way of asking people to take a look at a position. You're not asking them to connect with you. You're not asking them to become part of your network. You're simply saying to them, hey guys, this is a position, you might be interested, click on this link. If they click on the link, it comes back to the landing page like the one I showed you earlier. In fact, let me give an example.
And we're okay on time, Kelly. I was just informed we can have all the time we need, up until 45 minutes. So
okay, I was trying to run specifically too.
Right.
Okay, so what we can do is, if you can see this page here, once you've socialized your job, we can actually bring the candidate directly back, send them the URL to this page. They don't have to engage with you, but we can then track that. So we can say, well, that's the number of invites you sent out, 3 people have clicked through and applied, and then you can follow that through. So it's a very inintrusive method of actually inviting people or socializing people to take a look at your jobs. And it's certainly something we're building on at the moment. This is not just LinkedIn. We're looking at Viadio and Facebook and other things as well. So the ways we see you find candidates are obviously evolving, but at the moment it's post a job, socialize that job via your professional and personal networks. It's then direct source, find that candidate. And all of that technology is wrapped up in our platform and available via your PC Recruiter main sequence integration in this case.
I did have one more question come in, and please feel free to ask questions, folks that are out there, wanting to know a little bit more detail about how we feed candidates directly into PCR, the candidate info.
It depends on each customer's setup is different, but predominantly it follows through to the apply page. So sorry I keep using the same example, but let's come back to a Twitter feed here. So I'm going to click on this Twitter job. That's going to bring me back to a landing page here. So the candidate gets to see the job, read it in more depth, can actually sort of take a look and decide. And, you know, this is, going back to what we said a minute ago, this is a classic example of something that's just been cut and pasted from a job description. You know, great job title, but is that going to, if I'm running a search for occupational therapist, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of them appear, which is the one that's going to grab my attention. But to answer your question, candidate comes in here when they click apply. They go through to this page here. This is quite a complex one. I think it varies dependent on clients. They fill in whatever your defined landing page is within your PC Recruiter application gets filled in. And once they've filled that in, the candidate then goes straight into the database, is associated with the job and the referring source. So if that person came from Twitter, inside of your PC Recruiter application, your PCO application, it will say the candidate source is Twitter. And we make sure that you know where that candidate came from.
Great. We had another question about, is Broadbean a standard or add-on feature in PC Recruiter? Meaning, are there additional fees to have Broadbean in PCR?
The short answer to that is yes. We are an additional purchase. I would say we're incredibly good value. You could miss out one Starbucks a day and probably buy our system. So there you go. Puts it in there.
There you go.
I am somewhat biased. I would say you get incredibly good value for money.
Correct. Anybody have any more questions? We're going to make the slides available to all those who registered and attended the webinar today. We'll be forwarding that on, and our contact information is obviously included in that. If you have any questions, we'd sure be happy to answer that over the phone or in person if you'd like. Feel free to call us.
Absolutely. And, we're finishing off with, I'll leave the slide up there for a while, but our numbers are on there. You can email either Ray and I at any time. If you've got any other questions or if there's any other information that we can help you with, great.
I'm certainly happy to connect via LinkedIn as well.
And you know what? Just to finish off, let's see some sexy job descriptions out there. Let's see people writing out. When you're pretty recruiters, challenge them to come up with something that's a bit more interesting, a bit different, that's going to engage a candidate. Let's not see the same old all the time. Let's use a little bit of creative art and make it a bit more interesting and hopefully get some more targeted candidates and ultimately, as is in the recruitment world, make some money.
I had one last question come in real quick. Can this also post individual web pages such as office home pages?
The short answer to that question is yes. It depends on who they are and what they want us to do, but pretty much we can post anywhere.
And the last one, can you provide an example of a sexy job posting? I
downloaded a few and I wrote a couple and they're quite subjective, so I can send, if we can get that person's email address, we'll send them on to them directly.
Absolutely.
Because, my view of something sexy is, as Rayan knows, I like to be different. I like things that are amusing. You've recently been looking at I would use the Geico adverts with my accent as an example, but
correct.
But if you look at the Geico adverts, nothing to do with insurance. You got things chucking wooden sticks into rivers, and it makes me laugh. So for me, it's always about humour, but it depends. So we'll send some out. That'd be great.
One last story. I had a request to talk about the hat in my picture.
I'll let you answer that question.
Okay. We actually did a photo shoot here in the office to promote our company, obviously. And I was the last participant in photo shoots, and Kelly thought it would be rather funny to show up in the back of my photo, kind of looking a little bit like a member of Village People. And he was donning the hat that's on me, and as he scooted out of there while I was roaring on the floor because he surprised me, he dropped the hat on my head, and it was an impromptu part of the photo shoot, and it's turned into a funny story. So we're very excited about what we can achieve here in the States and how we can benefit and help recruiters, and we are all about fun here at Broadbean.
And you know what? Let's just add to that. Connect with us on Facebook. Go to our Facebook fan page, and all those pictures are there. So if you want to see the story of the hat, you'll see it unfold very clearly on our on our Facebook page. So with that, it's just you can search for the Broadbean fan page and connect with us there, and you'll see some pictures.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It has been a great pleasure to share a little bit about our feelings about job postings and how to benefit you, the recruiter, you, the hiring manager, in a much more concise and a way that will allow you to source the right candidates. And please feel free to contact us.
And, I'd like to finish off, again, echo Ryan's sentiments. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I'd also like to, show appreciation to the guys at Main Sequence, PC Recruiter Main Sequence, for organising this and actually inviting us along and allowing us to come and talk, because, we're not trainers. We are a technology business, and I appreciate the time slot they've given us. So, guys, thank you very much indeed. And, if we can answer anyone's questions, we'll stay on line for a bit and take them. But we'll probably end the webinar now. And you can we'll leave the screens up there. You can feel free to contact us directly and take a look at those pictures on Facebook.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much.